which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to invite Morgan Rogers to come forward. Once a year before the Youth Day Parade, we have a youth governance board, and Morgan's going to introduce them, and we're going to get them to run this meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It is certainly
Everybody can have a seat.
It is certainly my pleasure to be here tonight to introduce the youth officials for the 65th Annual Francis McGahee Youth Day Parade that's going to be held on Saturday, October the 12th. Right? 10th? 10th. October the 10th. See, I had to look back at my youth officials to get the right day. So Saturday, October the 10th, and it's going to be a glorious day. The theme is Unplugged. It's just that simple. Roswell Unplugged. And so I think we're going to have a lot of fun with it. But as you know, in the 65 years of the Youth Day Parade, it has always been a youth parade, which means if you're over the age of 18, you can't really participate in the parade unless someone younger than 18 invites you to be in the parade. So to take all the chance work and guesswork out of it, we decided we would get Youth Day officials for the mayor and the council and the other elected officials. So as I call their names, if the youth officials would come forward and take their spot on the podium, the dais, and the other folks, if they'll just stand right here in the front. You've already met the youth mayor from Centennial High School, and that was Sebastian Porto. Yeah, you're going to take his seat, Sebastian. Representing Ken Eigelhart, we have from Blessed Trinity, Timmy McQuaid.
Don't call that red photo. Starts the bottom.
Representing Councilwoman Nancy Diamond from Roswell High School, we have Caitlin DiPolito. Representing Councilman Jerry Orleans from Blessed Trinity, we have Abby Corn. Representing Councilwoman Becky Wynn from Roswell High School, we have Lauren Fuller. Representing Councilman Rich DiPolito from Fellowship Christian, we have Olivia Karam. No, Karam. I'll get it right now. Karam, I'm sorry. Olivia Karam. Representing Police Chief Rusty Grant from Blessed Trinity, we have Norman Francis Jr. Representing Fire Chief Ricky Burdett from Roswell High School, we have Abigail Johnson. We also have with us representing, I don't know if Senator Albers made it tonight, representing Senator John Albers, Maddie Schwartz from Roswell High School. Representing State Representative Betty Price, we have Clay Buckwhites from Fellowship Christian. And representing U.S. Congressman Tom Price from Blessed Trinity, we have Emma Hodson. And not on my list is a representative for Judge Brian Hansford. Is not on my list. Come forward. Is the judge here too? Come on up, Judge. I'm sorry?
Adrian Holford.
Adrian Holford from, where are you from? Centennial. So, Mr. Youth Mayor, these are our duly elected youth officials for our 65th Annual Youth Day Parade. So I guess I turn the meeting back over to you.
All right. All right, everyone, let's have a hand. Please use officials taking a seat while I read the mayor's report. Oh, yeah. So, first on the list, we have the recognition of youth officials representing the city in the 65th Annual Francis McGahee Youth Day Parade.
We already covered that.
Oh, really? All right, well, it was that important. We had to repeat it. Number 2, we have the reading of a proclamation for Roswell Youth Day. Number 3, reading... Oh, we have 3 weeks. Okay. Gotcha. So the proclamation, or the office of the mayor. Doing a swell job so far. Roswell's 65th Annual Youth Day celebration. Whereas the youth of Roswell are an important part of the community, and whereas the youth of Roswell represent the future of our great city, and whereas the city of Roswell for the past 65 years have celebrated its youth with a citywide parade and festival, and whereas the theme for the 65th Annual Youth Day celebration is Roswell Unplugged. Now, therefore, I, Sebastian Puerta, Youth Mayor of the City of Roswell, do hereby proclaim Saturday, October 10th, 2015, as Youth Day in the City of Roswell, and I call upon all of our citizens, young and old, to help us celebrate and promote this most honored day in our community.
Let's have another hand for Roswell Youth.
Thank you. You may be seated. I'm getting ahead of it. All right, number 3 on the list. Reading of a proclamation recognizing October 2015 as Roswell Arts and Humanities Month. Roswell Arts and Humanities Month. Whereas October is National Arts and Humanities Month, as so designated by thousands of arts and cultural organizations, communities, and states across the country, as well as by the White House and Congress for more than 2 decades. And whereas our nation and the city of Roswell have a rich artistic heritage, and whereas literature, theater, dance, art, and music capture our history, build bridges amongst us, and provoke dialogue and often raise important questions, and whereas artistic expression resonates with us, challenges us, and teaches us important lessons about ourselves and each other, and whereas the arts are vital components of our children's education, teaching students to observe closely, interpret creatively, and think critically, and participating in the arts ignites wonder and imagination. And whereas Roswell has a strong commitment to culture and arts, and this dedication drives the economic progress in our community for all our residents and visitors, and is sure to entertain and enlighten all ages. Now, therefore, I, Sebastian... Oh, no, Jared Wood. Okay. Now, therefore, I, Sebastian Puerta, Youth Mayor of the City of Roswell, do hereby proclaim October 2015 as Roswell Arts and Humanities Month, and call upon all our citizens to celebrate National Arts and Humanities Month with many special programs, activities, and events.
You say that you see the photographic exhibit downstairs? Yeah. What's that all about?
Well, as you enter the building, there's a photographic little gallery. There's a bunch of pretty paintings. I didn't really get that big of a look, but it looked very nice.
That's by the Roswell Photographic Society. If you haven't taken a look at the photographs,
interesting.
Morgan, say something about the Roswell Photographic Society.
If I may, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to call upon Rochelle Muka, who is going to talk about the National Arts and Humanities Month, and she's going to include that as part of her presentation. Rochelle is chairman of the Roswell Arts Commission. Rochelle?
Good evening, Mayor Wood, members of City Council, members of City staff, and students. I couldn't have asked for a better audience to have this opportunity to speak to you. On behalf of the Roswell Arts Commission, on behalf of the Roswell Arts Fund, and on behalf of arts patrons, arts educators, and artists throughout the city, I want to thank you for your increasing, enthusiastic support and funding for strengthening the arts here in the city of Roswell. This month, we start a month-long celebration, National Arts and Humanities Month, and we've handed out a brochure to all of the City Council, and it should be on the desk there in front of you. This is a brochure that lists out all of the events that will be available for you, your family, your friends, your neighbors, and others to engage with the arts this month. There are some very familiar activities in that brochure, and there are some new ones. So, Art in the City. Art in the City was a new initiative where we invited local artists to offer up, to put on loan one piece of artwork that we would then match with one Roswell establishment, perhaps a bank, a store, a retail establishment, and even City Hall and city buildings. And this was a very successful initiative. We had 25 artists offering up 77 individual artworks, and we were able to match every artist with at least one artwork that is hanging now somewhere on the walls of Roswell City. We could do a scavenger hunt for that, but we don't have to, because there's a nice list for you up on the website that will tell you where all the art is, and will also give you contact information because it's all for sale. It was such a good idea that Morgan Rogers, in his great wisdom, immediately seized it and institutionalized it and called it Art in City Hall. And now we have these quarterly rotations, of which tonight we're just coming from a lovely reception where we just launched this. And you're correct. It's very nice art. It's good art. It's photography. And it's one form of art that I hope all of you students will take a look at the list and go visit where all the art is. Also new, we have a Wild Hope Gallery out in East Roswell that is hosting a very multi-talented artist. His name is Michael Swan. He does many unique things, one of which is pinstriping Harleys. And 2 lucky Harley owners are going to get their motorcycle pinstriped at this reception, and all the benefits go to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. So a wonderful combination: art, Harleys, philanthropy. Who could ask for more? And Clay Collective is opening its doors for artists of all ages to participate in a collaborative piece of artwork, which will then be on display later on at Art Center West. Coming back for the 3rd time, the public conversation on the arts, and this year we're focusing on public art. And how timely. We're in the midst of our first commission for public art for Fire Station number 4, and we are beginning the preparation to launch our first sculpture tour, a temporary art exhibition, Art Around, in April of 2016. So now I'm going to look at the students, but I'm also going to refer to those standing behind you with the real jobs. And I'm going to say that all of you up there, standing now, we have had some interesting 3 years together. It's been some journey. And I think that we can say that we have come to understand how the arts contribute to our city, our society, our region, how the arts help us define our sense of place. They help us capture our brand and tell others how we want to be known, and they fuel our economic and social vitality. We, over these past 3 years, and the colleagues of mine who are not here this evening, we've made an awful lot of progress in the past 3 years. So I ask you tonight to please protect the progress that we've made, to please protect the progress that we've made by continuing to show your support and funding for the plans that are today, the plans around the corner, and the plans that define our future. We thank you, City Council and members of City staff, for all that you do. We thank you in advance for all that you will do, and we hope to see you at many, and if you need help understanding that's more than one, many opportunities this month to engage with the arts. Thank you and have a good evening.
Let's congratulate the Art Commission on their good work.
We're good.
Okay.
I've got one other announcement I'd like to make in conjunction with this, with Youth Day and the National Arts and Humanities Month. We have with us tonight an outstanding artist, Mark Lundy. Is an artist who relocated several years ago to the city of Roswell and is now proud to call it his home. His painting, which is in the back, you can see it back in the back corner, is entitled "At the Start of Their Run," is a depiction of some young ladies of Roswell at the start of the city's annual Youth Day Parade and historic 5K road race. Mr. Lundy, who is with us tonight over on the side, has multiple sclerosis, says that the painting is evidence that the girls' useful lives for generations to come, and his goal was to capture the spirit of this wonderful community of Roswell. Mr. Lundy is using a method known as, and I think I'm pronouncing this right, Grizzali? Okay. And it is a method in which pure color glazes are applied over gray tones. Finished pieces exhibit a certain glow or luminescent quality. It is currently on display for the National Arts and Humanities Month at the Adult Recreation Center. For more information about the painting or inquiring or purchasing this piece of art, you can contact us at the Recreation and Parks Department. But he's gone. So we think this took our Youth Day and went full circle with a painting, a picture, a painting, and now it's on display in the Arts Month. And we thank you, Mr. Lundy, for being part of that, process. And Mr. Mayor, we certainly want to get a photo opportunity before you finish with your business tonight. I don't know how much more business you have, but we certainly want a photo op before you leave here tonight. Thank you.
Of course, thank you. Okay, excellent. All right. Next, we have the recognition of Allie Baker from River Eaves Elementary for being selected as a 2015 to 2016 STEM, which is Science, Technology, Education, and Math, Teacher of the Year by the Museum of Aviation National STEM Academy. She's here? Yes. All right, she can come up. We congratulate her. Okay, well, I personally am a big lover of STEM. I want to go to school at Georgia Tech, and STEM is something that's very important to me, and I congratulate all that you do for teaching the youngins how important STEM is in our society. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Allie Baker from River Eaves Elementary was selected as the 2015 to 2016 STEM Teacher of the Year Award by the Museum of Aviation's National STEM Academy. This award is given to teachers who demonstrate the best effort in STEM education in the classroom. Teachers are making a difference in the future of Georgia's workforce, and the Museum of Aviation recognizes how important it is for students to participate in STEM activities and proudly supports teachers with training opportunities, resources, and the STEM Award. So let's give her another hand. Do you have any words for us?
I'm sorry, what?
Do you have any words for us?
Oh, I just want to say thank you. I know I'm used to talking in front of students, but thank you for the recognition. I love what I do, and I love that I get to work with the kids every day and help them learn about STEM and more through their life.
Thank you very much. Next, we have the recognition of Fire Chief Burnett for receiving the 2015 Life Saving Valor Award from the Georgia State Firefighters Association.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You know, people always ask me why I joined the fire service. I always tell them because it's the best job in the world. What better job can you have than to wake up every morning and wonder whose life you're going to make a difference in today? We go on people who are not breathing and bring them back to life, from going to public relation details with children, save people in house fires. We see the worst in people in our jobs to make it better. So there's no better job in this world to have. Earlier this year, we had a house fire where a life was saved. And before I talk about that, I need to tell you there was a lot of teamwork that goes into this. Captain Jenkins obviously is the reason we're here tonight, but there was a lot of teamwork from the 911 Communications Center to the police department. They were out there helping us pull hose. I mean, it was a team effort. The ambulance service, obviously, that came and transported the victim to the hospital, and all the firefighters, the company officers, and the chief officers that were on the scene that day. Because of that teamwork, we had a successful outcome. The Valor Award is given to those who go above and beyond a duty to save a life. Firefighters go their whole career and never receive this award. In April, Roswell Fire Department responded to a house fire. Upon arrival, they found heavy fire and smoke showing from the residence. Captain Jenkins performed a 360. That's where we go around the house and size it up to see where the fire is and any dangers that they may encounter as they go in. He was told by bystanders there was possibly somebody inside. Without due regard for his own life, Captain Jenkins entered the structure and began the search. The victim was located in the living room. After that, he brought the victim out to the front porch where the firefighters were waiting to begin life-saving treatment on the victim. Because of Captain Jenkins, this victim was saved and is alive today. Captain Jenkins received the Life-Saving Valor Award from the Georgia State Firefighters Association and will be receiving the Valor Award from the Roswell Fire Department. Ladies and gentlemen, may I let you recognize Captain Jarrett Jenkins. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you, Captain Jenkins, for serving your community. Next, we have the recognition of Chief Grant of the Roswell Police Department for the Life Saving Award.
We actually have several awards, Mr. Mayor, and I want to welcome or thank you, mayors and council, for having us here tonight. The first award I want to recognize is the Department Commendation Ribbon. Every year, particularly during the summer, we hear about dogs or animals that are left, or animals or sometimes children that are left in hot cars and have to be rescued, or sometimes they're not as fortunate or not rescued. We had 2 officers this year that became their passion to identify and locate and rescue animals, particularly dogs, that were left in hot cars. And as a result of this, they also were able to their efforts were recognized on Facebook. And once it was recognized on Facebook, the local media picked up the story and covered it. And because of the local media coverage of the situation, we were recognized, the police department was recognized nationally for our compassion by helping animals. It was all because of these 2 officers in particular. Also, as a result of the media coverage, a local business, the Atlanta Home Theater, donated digital thermometers as well as cooling vests that can be used on our own department canines or dogs that need to be rescued from hot cars. So it really was, because of their leadership efforts, it was just a tremendous undertaking, and we were, like I said, recognized nationally as well as locally for their efforts. And the result, not only was that recognition, but numerous animals were saved from dying or perhaps being severely injured. So I'd like to recognize Officer William Lowe and Michael Shrout for the Department Commendation Ribbon. Next, I would like to recognize 2 officers for 2 separate life-saving incidents. The first is Officer Eric Frecken, and when he stands up here, you'll recognize that he already has a life-saving medal. So this will be his 2nd life-saving medal he's earned while he's been at the police department. But on June 3rd of this year, he was dispatched to a call, and when he arrived at the scene, the victim was unconscious, was not breathing, and had no pulse. He began CPR. And within a few minutes, the victim regained consciousness and survived. So he saved that life. I'd like to recognize Officer Frecken for his efforts. Next, I'd like to recognize Officer Corey DeVell, who on April 26th of this year was in a similar circumstance. He was dispatched to a person injured. When he arrived on the scene, he found a person unconscious. not breathing and no pulse. He immediately began CPR, and within minutes, he was able to revive the person who was doing very well at this time. If it was not for his efforts, the person very likely would not be with us today. So I'd like to recognize Officer Corey DeVell. Thank you.
I would like to invite all the councilmen to go take a photo.
Closer you can get together, the better. Able to get over this podium. There we go.
You're up here, Brian. Okay.
Let me see. Judge, I can't get, yes. You can scoot in a little. I know, you're kind of hiding behind her a little bit. Let me see if I can enable this. All right. Yes, please.
You're not going to block anybody. You're good at this.
Yeah, we're going to get the smaller one. There we go. Perfect. We're everywhere.
All right, one more hand for this council. Fun stuff. Not really. I have a nomination of Angela Hitch to the Board of Zoning Appeals reappointment. Do we have a motion to confirm the nomination?
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Orleans. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember DePolito. All in favor of the motion, raise their hands. Passes unanimously. Next, we'll turn to the consent agenda. Which are the items we're removing from the consent agenda? Rich?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to extract items 2 and 3 for further discussion.
Items 2 and 3 are coming off the consent agenda, so we're approving the minutes, the change order with Jacobs Engineering, and the contract for the business plan with Solid Waste Division. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Councilmember Wynn.
Exempting
2 and 3. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Orleans. Does anyone in the audience have any questions regarding the consent agenda? All in favor of the consent agenda, raise their hands. Passes unanimously. We will then turn to the Admin Finance Department Liaison, Councilmember Kent Eigelhart.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First item is to approve Mayor City Administrator to sign a contract with Realistic Computing for voice over IP, telephone system installation and implementation in the amount of $246,538. Approval of budget amendment in the amount of $79,538. Mr. Fisher.
Thank you, Councilmember Eigelhart. This is something that's been in the planning process for quite a while. It started out looking at a budget process a couple years ago for just an upgrade, and over time we've realized that with technology changing, with the solution that we had here at the city, it would be better to implement a new system. We went out through purchasing and got some RFPs back in. There were 14 of them. Out of those, Realistic Computing was the one chosen based on the statement of work that they provided, the advantages they have for the system. Stephen Miles, our IT director, is here for any technical questions, but I think the number one priority we were looking at was their hybrid availability, in the fact that we do not want to lose service, whether it be ground-based service or cloud-based. They can offer us options on those. So with that, the amount for the project is $246,538 and a $15,000 contingency that the city will maintain control over during the project unless something is needed. So there would be a budget amendment of $79,538. We're looking for approval for the contract and the budget amendment.
Do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion for approval by Councilmember Eigelhart. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Orleans. Does anyone in the audience have any questions or comments? Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, raise their hands. Passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Next item is an amendment to Chapter 24, Utilities and Services in the City Code of Ordinances to move to a monthly billing cycle for City of Roswell utilities. And I looked up and nobody was over here. I thought Mr. Lee had left. They all moved to the center. I hadn't seen that before. I'm sure you're going to, but please explain this carefully because this is a big change to our current operation.
Thank you, Councilman Eigelhart. Good evening, Mayor and Council. What I have before you is proposed changes to several components of our ordinance. The first, and this change is in reference to moving to monthly billing for our utilities. The first is a change to our deposit. And we currently have in our ordinance that we require a deposit of $100 on our utility accounts. I propose to remove that from the ordinance and we would place it in a resolution. If the council so desires, and we would bring the resolution at the second reading. For the second item, it would be the same thing, removing the penalties of 1.5% per month, and we would bring that in a resolution at the second reading. And the third has to do with the due date for our utilities. We currently have it as the 22nd. I would propose to move that to the 15th, with penalties and interest being applied the next day. We would give a 5-day grace period to the 20th, but by ordinance we would put the 16th. Those are the three changes.
Does the council have any questions? Councilmember DePolito.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Lee, in our write-up, it talks about a second notice, but there's no date associated with that? Would that be part of the next month's bill, or be a past due amount? Is that kind of what you're thinking?
Yes, sir. We would send a first notice on the 20th. The second bill would identify a past due balance and the cutoff. We would also call the individuals before we do any cutoffs for water.
Okay. And then as far as the deposits and the penalties, you're not suggesting changing those amounts, you're just pulling them out of the ordinance and placing them in a resolution?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay. But those amounts are...
They're $20. It's $100 per account for the deposit, and then the penalty is 1.5% per month for the late balance.
Okay. So those would remain. They would just not be part of the ordinance. They would just be in a separate location in a resolution.
Yes, sir. That's typically what we've been doing with our fees, is putting them in a resolution, just consistent.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Davidson, would you read the ordinance?
Thank you. This is an ordinance to amend Chapter 24, Utilities and Services, Article 24.1.2, Deposit, Article 24.2.4, Fees, Chapter 24.5.2, Bills, Billing Period, Payment Date, Penalty of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Roswell. Now therefore, the Mayor and Council of the City of Roswell, pursuant to their authority, do hereby adopt the following amendment, text of which is incorporated herein by reference, and if approved, this will be the first reading.
Do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion to approve by Councilmember Eichelhardt. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember DiPolito. Does anyone in the audience have any questions or comments? Any further discussion by council? All in favor of the motion, raise their hands. Passes unanimously.
Thank you.
This time we'll call upon the Environmental Public Works Department Liaison, Councilmember Rich DiPolito. And Rich, if you'd also call the consent agenda items.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First, I'll call the agenda item on in the order in our packets, which is approval of the Horseshoe Bend Homeowners Association application in the amount of $232,000 under the city's dredging assistance policy, and approval of budget amendment number 24071-01-09-28-2015 in the amount of $232,000. And Mr. Skalski is going to introduce this item.
Good evening, and thank you, Mayor and Council. This is the first of the applications under the new dredging policy that was passed this spring. This particular homeowners association has submitted a set of plans. They have a land disturbance permit, and they're ready to proceed. Staff has reviewed their application in compliance with the new program, determined the portion of that project that we think is eligible for funding, and we're recommending that it be covered with a combination of two funding sources, if you so wish to move forward with it. Be happy to entertain any questions related to the application or the project.
Thank you, Mr. Skalski. I understand Horseshoe Bend had applied for this under the old policy, found out there was the new policy, the dredging assistance policy, coming in and reformatted and resubmitted under that. Is that correct?
That is correct. They approached the city under the old. We asked them to apply under the new, and they've submitted their application. It's been reviewed under those terms.
And they are ready to proceed upon
yes,
our authorization? Okay, thank you.
Motion to approve by Councilmember DiPolito. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Orleans. Are there any comments or questions from the audience? Any further discussion by council? All in favor of the motion, raise their hands. Passes unanimously.
The next item is item number 2 from the consent agenda, which is approval for the mayor and/or city administrator to sign a contract with MVP Piping Company for construction services for the replacement of the Myrtle Street water line in the amount of $220,000, and approval of a related budget amendment in the amount of $30,000. Mr. Skalski.
Thank you. This is a straightforward water line replacement project under the CDBG program. It's approximately a little over 1,100 feet of new pipeline, a portion of which replaces some old asbestos cement concrete, and a portion of which extends the water line between the entire length from Zion Circle to Grove Way. We collected bids, and the lowest responsive bidder was MVP Piping Company in the amount of $220,000.
Councilmember DiPolito.
Thank you. Mr. Skowski, do you have a graphic showing the location of this?
I apologize, we do not.
Okay.
And we had one previously. I was looking for it this afternoon. My regrets on that.
So it's Myrtle Street, and from which point to which point?
From Zion Street to Grove Way, which includes the section, not Hill Street. Yes, Hill Street Commons is along that route as well.
All right, thank you.
Do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion to approve by Councilmember DiPolito. Do we have a second? Second by Councilmember Nguyen. Does anyone in the audience have any questions or comments? Any further discussion by council? All in favor of the motion, raise their hands. Passes unanimously.
The next item is number 3 from the consent agenda, which is approval for the mayor and/or city administrator to sign a contract with Lane Inliner LLC for cured-in-place pipe rehabilitation along 2 streets in the amount of $258,362.50. Mr. Skowski.
This is lining of actually 3 segments, but along 2 sections of storm pipe along Leather Hinge Trail and Charleston Trace. So we've combined those. We have a single pre-qualified standby contractor that conducts lining services for us. So this would be a task order to Lane Inliner that has that current contract. And that should extend the life of these pipes for another 40 to 50 years with the lining process. Funding is available through our stormwater fund, and this is typical of those lining projects we do there.
Does the council have any questions? Councilmember DiPolito.
Thank you. Mr. Skowski, do you have an estimate of what it would cost to replace this pipe if we needed to dredge it up, put in a new pipe, and replace all that versus just putting in the liner?
I don't have a precise estimate, but my gut feeling from my experience is it would be substantially more expensive. This is also under a fair amount of road, which is one of the big issues where we look at lining. So my hunch is this would probably be at least 50% more if we were replacing the whole length, and potentially double depending on the complications.
This is a great new technology that's saving us a lot of money and a lot of time.
One of the other advantages here is just access and inconvenience to our citizens using those roads. So we open cut a road like those, and homeowners are essentially cut off.
Thank you.
Do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion to approve by Councilmember DiPolito. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Diamond. Does anyone in the audience have any questions or comments? Any further discussion by council? All in favor of the motion, raise their hands. Passes unanimously. Last item on the agenda is a recommendation by our city attorney for closure to discuss litigation in real estate. Do we have a motion for closure? Motion by Councilmember DiPolito. Do we have a second? Second by Councilmember Diamond. All in favor, raise their hands. Passes unanimously. We're adjourned. You were thinking. I read your mind. Thank you for coming tonight. You stay officials. Have a big time.